All right. Welcome. This is Show and Share. I am Sue Landay, the president of Trainers Warehouse. And for those who have been to some of our other Show and Share sessions, you may know that we, kind of have sort of a nicely put together package, beginning, and then we all contribute and add and so forth. This is a little bit more of a gritty roll up our sleeves and explore together. So I have put together some slides and some stuff, but I actually think that doing a screen share and diving in is a little bit better. You can see over my shoulder because I added this background screenshot, which we can talk about how to do if you don't know. We'll cover some of the things that we're going to cover, but during our pre-session, or before we got started, a few of you also added some other kind of frustrations, thoughts, questions that we'd like to get to at the end, including Miro and breakouts. So let me show you what I've got and share a little bit, and feel free to interrupt and ask questions. I'm going to share my screen here, and you guys are going to tell me if you can see it. And I want you to be able to see, all of you. We also talked about different views. So you all are going to be able to use the views thing in the top right corner, which I'm showing you, but you also have on your own screen. So I'm just looking at the gallery. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to change my view to speaker right now. And I have some other nice person. Okay, so when we click, this is the first thing. I'm kind of going to go across the bottom row. So, and look at a few things. And Sarah, you may need to mute some people, and then when people want to talk, we can unmute you. So in all of these buttons at the bottom of your screen, there's the main button, and then there's the little caret that gives you some more capabilities. So I want to
Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
with the video caret and look at the video and effects settings. So what's interesting about this is you can, with virtual backgrounds, and hold on, I want to turn off my chat right now because Sarah, I told you this was going to be a little bit gritty. Okay. Bear with me. I see Nora laughing at me. Okay, it's all good. So in your virtual backgrounds, I've added this screen here to show the agenda. You can have none, and it's just your regular background. And some of the stuff you guys might already know. Some of it will be new. I'm going to go through some of this quickly. What's kind of interesting also is if you're concerned about your eyebrows, for instance, you see I gave myself some really nice pronounced eyebrows. I can change the color of them. I'm not really worried about my eyebrows. I can also change my lip color. These are things that some people do use, some people don't. You don't need to know that they're there. So it's not just about avatars and wonky backgrounds. The other thing with your video, just to be aware of, is you have these other toggles to adjust for low light. So you might see it's a subtle difference. And these are things that you can do. You can adjust your portrait lighting, your auto framing, touch up my appearance. Just know that these things are available. You may not need to use them. I'm turning them all off right now, but know that it's not just my camera's on or off. I have this, special light, or I don't. Benita, question.
In the beginning, you said that you had uploaded like a background. What were like the dimensions of that? Is there specific dimensions you had, or how did that
So
work?
what I did is I went to my Zoom, to my PowerPoint, I made it really big. I grabbed a snipping tool and I just said, you know, make an image of this. I think a lot of people, there are different like screen capture tools. This is the one that I'm using. So I grabbed this and I just saved it. And then when I went back into, whoops, that's my PowerPoint. When I went back into sharing, not in sharing, sorry. Still just going to be gritty. In virtual backgrounds. So it is in video. I clicked on this plus right here. You see it? Add image or video background. And I just added an image. And that was my background. Okay. All right.
There's a question from Rob saying
Yeah.
he's not seeing some of these options, and he's wondering if it's because he's in the browser version of Zoom.
I see Katrina nodding her head yes. Good. The participant, or did you say browser version? Yes. Okay. So yeah, it may be different depending on what version of Zoom. I do have a paid subscription. It's not super souped up. I haven't added a lot, but and I'm the host. So, but that's why I'm sharing my screen as the host so you can see some of this stuff. So we talked about some of the video effects. A couple of things, I just want to mention this for participants. If you forgot to send out an invitation or you need to, like, you don't want to bother going to your email, if you go to participants and click that invite button in the bottom right corner, you're going to see your join meeting, your meeting ID right here in the middle, and the meeting passcode. So let's say you're on the fly, you're talking to somebody, you're on the phone, you start up a Zoom meeting. All people really need, they can say, go to zoom.us or zoom.com. You can give the meeting ID, you can give the passcode, they're in. So if you don't have time to like wait for an email to get there or arrive, know that that's available to you. So I'd kind of like that quick hack.
Okay, I will definitely, that's a really good point. Thank you. I will definitely, I'll note that just for everybody's safety's sake, so.
Okay, sorry, I don't think Pam is talking to us. Okay, I want to next go to this React. So there's reaction settings. If you click on the React, a couple things that I feel like I don't use a lot, and it's kind of interesting if you've got a long session. I kind of like this yes, no, slow down, speed up. I'm away. Like, I feel like these are some of the reactions that we don't use very much. Raise hand, I have seen people do, also really useful. You can also use one of this reaction settings so that if someone raises their hand physically, it will respond to that. So wanted to identify these. Reactions, if you scroll down, actually, you don't have to scroll down. Yeah, two things. If you scroll down to the very bottom, you can add a custom emoji. I haven't actually done that, but add the first custom emoji. So if you have something that you want to add for yourself, it's there. I also, this kind of took me a little while to find. Maybe others have found it, but skin tone. Click on the hand and you can choose a skin tone that feels good or appropriate. So if you, again, you have new users, know that this is in that React screen right there for you. And I could ask you right now all to like click on that React button on yours and like give me a thumbs up. Oh, love it, love it, love it. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so now I want to look at some more advanced features. So in the more, I want to go to show captions. So you guys can see this at the bottom of my screen right now. Yes? Closed captions, I'm seeing some nods. This, if you're recording or you're sharing your screen, you want to do this as the host. If you have someone who's participating and you're not doing a screen share, you're going to want to instruct them to go to their own tools and show their captions or translate into a different language. All of that happens here, but that would be unique to the participant's experience. So we're kind of separating out what the host is going to see, what the participants are going to see. So I really like the captions. And we're going to come back to break rooms because I feel like that's a conversation that we want to have together. Just want to show a few other things.
Just
Yeah.
just as far as the language, Angie has a question. Are there admin level language options? I'm not exactly
So-
sure what that question means. So Angie, you might want to unmute and ask.
Yeah, so if the individual puts closed captions on, if they have, is there different language options for them? If they're using Zoom in Spanish, would their closed captions be in Spanish?
Yeah, so when I click on this little caret and I look at caption settings, I've got my font size. And so this says accessibility. Translations will look like this. Caption language.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's great.
Yep, so it's right there, caption language. It's by the caret. Accessibility. Okay. Other apps. So this is kind of a cool one that I feel like, and there is a timer here in apps, and I believe this is all standard for everyone. Music. So we've talked in our show and shares a lot about music when people come in or when they're working or when you're asking a question. Right in Zoom, I can say, okay, I can click on the music app. Can you guys hear it? A little bit. It's quiet for me too. It's getting louder. We have a crescendo. Okay, so again, it's an app. It's in Zoom. No, it's there. Pausing it and just going back. And again, there's, whoops, let's go more to apps, to music. And looks, okay, so this looks like Hebrew to me. I don't know how that happened, but that's really interesting, isn't it? Okay. So lots of different genres. See all the playlists right there. Going back to the more recording polls, we're going to come back to breakout rooms. What's also interesting about the apps is that when you look at adding more apps, there's gajillions of them. So if there's something that you're looking for as a host, it might take a little, kind of practice on your end or coming back. If any of you have an app that you want to try out, I'm going to make you a co-host right here, right now, and we can do that and try something out. But again, know that those are there for you. So the last thing that I really wanted to kind of play around with is also in more, it's the whiteboards. And it's funny because I was asking a couple of folks before they signed on, are they using whiteboards? How are they using them? Et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know if you can see this right now. So I got a lot going on. Whiteboards, I click that button and it says a new whiteboard or an existing whiteboard. So if I go to new whiteboard, it's going to tell me right now, opening a whiteboard will stop your screen share. Do you want to continue? So I'm going to hit continue, and we're going to talk through, because I might need all of you to open up your whiteboards. Okay, are we ready? I told you this was a roll up our sleeves and play around. So thanks for kind of doing this with me, you guys. So I now have on my screen a whiteboard, and I see a lot of other people have hit whiteboard too, because I'm seeing a lot of names floating around. And I want to call your attention to a couple of different things. In the bottom left, actually, so a couple of things. On the left side of your screen, you'll probably see a menu, and it looks like you might see a hand, a pen, a shape, a T. So the hand is always, if you click that hand, that's going to allow you to move your whiteboard around and around. So you can get to different parts of it. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger. There are 3 dots at the bottom. Okay, my whiteboard just disappeared. Maybe someone closed it, but that's okay. The 3 dots at the bottom that says more tools, you can click on this, and if you go to facilitate and then activities, you'll see there are a whole bunch of different boards that you can use that are preloaded. And you can choose one of those. And if I, click one right now and say use activity, it's all going to show up on the whiteboard. If you all do this and you add one, it's going to show up on our shared whiteboard also, as I see some of you are doing. And then you can have your participants interact with that. So one question we had at the beginning from Gordon was about whiteboards, because I was asking people about, what features they use, and Gordon suggested that Miro seems to be an easier tool to use. And I'm not getting into the whiteboard right now to say I'll do a session. We can do that and kind of practice using it. But Miro it's also an app here. So let me just kind of take a pause right now and check in with you guys, because I want to talk probably a little bit more about how we are using whiteboards, and also we wanted to talk about breakouts, because we started to have a conversation at the very beginning. So I'm going to get rid of my whiteboard right now. I'm going to get rid of, I'm just looking at all of you guys now. So feel free to unmute, ask a question, what we've covered so far. What have I not covered that you were hoping to talk about? What's something you'd like to try, a best practice? I really would like to open up the floor. And Daphne, yes, thank you. Please talk to us.
Thank you. This has been great. So I really appreciate just us going deeper into the things that we may not be seeing even as we're using Zoom regularly. But I was going to ask you about whiteboards. So I tried to use a few different kinds of whiteboards. I think I used FigJam and Miro with groups, and I noticed that people were frustrated. People were frustrated because all the action on the screen, and some people were really tech savvy and others were not as tech savvy. And I thought it was going to be so cool. So my question to you is, so my initial thought as a facilitator is I don't want people to be distracted by the tech. So I'm just going to have them put answers in the chat. Like, I'm going to create the visual and all that. But are there any workarounds that I'm not thinking of? Should I make time to like orient them to a tool within the presentation and just make more time for that? What have you or others found works well when it comes to whiteboards to make sure that they're used well and they contribute to a positive training experience.
Awesome question. Daphne, I would think that to some degree, it probably depends on how long your session is and how much time you have. So if you have, there was one session I was participating in over a course of 4 weeks, several hours a day. Each week there was like a 2-hour session or something. And for that, there were instructions beforehand on how to use Miro. And there was like a get ready, a pre-session meeting before you even jumped into the content, just to talk about the tools. If they're going to be a big part. So that was on, that was a session with Leading from the Back of the Room virtual edition. It was specifically about how to lead online learning. And so it was worth it to do something like that. If it's a quick session, maybe you have a couple of PowerPoint slides that orient people. That would be my quick response, but I have a lot of experts on here and I want to give you an opportunity to respond to Daphne as well. And you've got some answers in chat as well, I think. So these are more about music. Yeah, Renee.
I was just going to say, Daphne, that is such a legitimate question. And to Sue's point, I would actually set up some playtime, like legitimately a minute, 2 minutes to say, okay, let's get all of it out of our system. And I want everybody to go out there and do the crazy and do the extra and do what you want to do. And then we're going to focus. But that's my 2 cents.
Awesome. And Sue Annabelle says, the more you set things up before the session, the better. So if you've got like a whole whiteboard preset, and then people are just interacting with it and adding their sticky notes, that may be better than blank board, right? Yeah, Nora, please.
I just think that her advice of always let them know in advance, let them know what they're going to do, give them a chance to practice. I think that's a standard for anything that you do, especially online, is to, if you're going to ask people to participate online doing a tool, you have to train them to the tool. And you need to know your audience. If you have a real savvy website, Zoom savvy group, you don't need to go through all of that, but you need to know who your audience is to know, do you need to give them detailed instructions? I love the idea of let them play for a minute, but I would give very good directions first and then let them play a little bit, sort of like what you're doing today, Sue.
Playtime. Thank you, Nora. Thank you, Renee. And thanks, Daphne, as well.
That's fine.
Other questions? Yeah, Katrina.
So mine isn't a question, but an observation from my own experience using the Zoom whiteboard. I tend to use the Zoom whiteboard over others because it's baked into Zoom. You don't have to go somewhere else. And the first thing that I do, which Zoom has now included in your overall setting when you open the whiteboard, is to turn off everyone's cursors, because all of that movement can be really disorienting, especially for people who are using it for the first time. So turn that off and people will be so much happier as they go about learning how to use it, like everyone else has mentioned.
Awesome. Thank you. Other whiteboards suggestions, because I do want to spend a few minutes on talking about breakouts. Can I go on? Yeah, okay. I asked a few folks who joined our call on the earlier side. I said, how do you guys feel about breakouts? I said, I don't usually use them here because I feel like everybody wants to see what's going on. And in my experience, I've had a lot of bad breakout experiences where I haven't necessarily had, had a great group or a great conversation. Like in theory, I think it's really good, but it can be really hit or miss. And oh, who said Bodo? Breakout, duck out. Thank you, Brandon. Brandon introduced me to a new term, Bodo, breakout, duck out. He said, you know, he often just leaves for the 10 minutes during the breakout. So what are your experiences with when they work, when to use them, when not to? You know, to the extent that we can kind of share best practices, how do you make it work?
Well, I'll throw a thought in there, Susan. When
Yeah.
I host a lot of small groups for different things that I'm in outside of ATD, and one of them, I actually put a slide up first that says breakout rooms, and underneath it, I put don't run, they're not scary. So I think for me, a lot of it is acknowledging that people are uncomfortable. That's a normal feeling, and gives people a little bit more psychological safety to stay in the room when they go in. You know, and I think one time I had on there, you can sit in the corner and hide, we won't judge you. Like, just to get them into the room so that comfort level goes up.
Awesome. Renee, I think you had your hand up next, and then Gordon.
I didn't think that I had it up, but I will talk.
Oh, maybe it was not, maybe it was, and
It may have been
Daphne,
the
it was
other Renee. I
Daphne,
see
I'm
Daphne,
sorry.
I see Gordon. So I
Daphne.
love breakout rooms. That's all. I also think that, you know, the new term that Brandon brought up is hilarious. But if you are facilitating to the room and you have very specific questions to ask, I think that that helps. And as the breakout owner, check in and make sure that they know that you're still there. I don't know.
Thank you. Yeah, Daphne.
It is.
Hey.
It's TFO.
So what I have done before, or what I do now, is I share the instructions for the breakout room. I put the instructions in the chat. I have the timer on so that people know when they're leaving. But the other thing that I've done that I think has been a huge hit for people who are in the same organization but in different states. I share about the expectations for the room. I'm like, hey, some people want to jump right into the content. Others want to chat for a bit. To make sure that everybody gets what they need, let's do a quick introduction when you get in the room, jump right into the content. And if you have time left over, you can chat. That way everybody gets what they need. And I say, remember what you're presenting in the breakout room. So for the groups that I'm working with, I'm like, who are you? Like you're expanding your network. So when you go in there, show the best version of yourself. If you're not likely to engage more. If you're someone who always engages, give other people a chance to engage. And then I say person with the shortest hair, go first. So all that to say, I lay out a lot of expectations. And then at the end of that, when I tried that at the end of the session, people were like, I love my breakout room. My breakout rooms were great. It was like the most excited people were about breakout rooms, but I laid out a lot of just initial things.
Awesome. So expectations, how to coordinate it, who to go first. As Lori says, though, not a long list of things to discuss and report on. Oh, and reporting afterwards. Let's talk about that. Okay, Gordon, you're next, though.
I really liked what Daphne said. That was really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think I'm not sure how much it would be to manage it, but if depending on the size, asking people ahead of time, asking specific people that can you be the breakout room leader here? Because I find that you get into a breakout room and you're like, okay, who's going to take control? And then it turns into a small, you know, a mini conference now. Like she said, people giving their introductions and trying not to be awkward and or just ducking out. And I think having somebody who can come in right away, hey, there's supposed to be 5 of us in here, and there's, you know, I'm gonna be the breakout leader. Okay, here, let's ask these 2 questions, and rather than trying to wait for somebody to be like, fine, I guess I'll go ahead and lead this breakout room. Assign that ahead of time.
Awesome. And I see Sue Annabelle's suggestion to practice if you can, like, you know, try it out. And yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Katrina, please.
So I want to build on Gordon's idea with something that I use. I train a lot. I spend most of my time training facilitators and trainers. And every time they go to a breakout room, I tell them who is going to be the facilitator in the breakout room. And I do that by holding up a card that has something on it. I keep these right by my desk, right in front of my computer. So it might be last ate a green vegetable, or most colorful socks, or last ate chocolate. And then groups like to add to them person who woke up the earliest. So I end up, I have last person to walk a dog. So they have that little bit of connection at the beginning of their breakout room. They know who's responsible. They know who's going to report back if there's reporting back. And it's kind of fun. And if I forget, they almost always say, please, like what's our go-to? So yeah, these would be great on paddles. Absolutely, Alana. I love that idea. And maybe a card set eventually, Sue. Maybe a card set.
Right? I think we've got an idea going on here. And so I've heard, so I feel like I was in a session with Chad Littlefield some time ago, and there were some sessions where he had people report back and others he didn't. And so I think that question is probably an important one of, when does it make sense to have a group report back? Do you just have a spattering versus every group reporting back? Like, how do you think about that? Katrina, go ahead. You're right there.
I was like, I don't want to take the next the next show and share is mine. That wasn't, I didn't want to take this one over. It depends on what you're asking them to do. If they are going deep into a concept that you really are, they're working something that has may have a different outcome for each group, I'm going to have them report that back. I may, if it's just like discuss something and so that they can have that perspective, I'm not going to take the time. So I'm thinking about time, I'm thinking about the purpose, and I really don't think as adults we have to report out every time. I'm going to trust you to have done the work in there and need what and get what you need. So I may say bring back an insight, one, or bring back a question, one, so that it's really specific on what you're asking them to come back with. But it doesn't have to be every time. Time and the purpose for the breakout room, I think, really drive it.
Awesome. Thank you. I want to acknowledge that we're at our half-hour mark. This has been tremendous. I want to thank everyone who has been here and participated. If you need to bug out, I totally get it. We're going to stay on for a while, though. I know that we had another question from Lori, Coach Lori.
Hi. So it was
hi. Just one second. So
sure.
Yeah. So we're good. We're going to hang out. Feel free to hang out with us, but we get it if you have to go. So thanks, Lori. You're up.
Okay, a technique I made up is called pods, participants of the day. So if you see a larger group on an ongoing basis, you pick whatever it is, 5 people, 6 people who are ready to be the spokespeople for the day.
Love
from
it.
Different breakout groups or just in general. So pods, participants of the day.
Love it. Thank you.
Hope it's helpful.
Thank you. Other tips, favorite hacks, questions? Nora, I saw your hand up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes a difference of what the questions or the prompts are. When I have 4 or 5 things I want explored and each group's going to explore a different one, there's some value to that. We sort of spread the work out. Then I want to hear a report back. But if everybody's responding to the same thing, I usually just want, as Katrina says, bring it in, bring me a highlight, bring me an aha, or post it in chat. I always say the reporter can come back, can unmute and speak up, or report out in chat. I always give that option because some people just don't want to talk on screen, but they will put it in chat.
Great. Thank you. I see you have your hand up, Alana. Let me answer Autumn's question. It was Bodo break out or duck out. Yeah, thank you. All right, Alana, you're up. Thanks.
So regarding breakout rooms, the biggest struggle that I have is when I put people into them. I'll put the questions somebody had mentioned earlier, put the questions they're going to be working on in the chat, and I have it on my screen, and then I send them into the breakout rooms, and I find that they don't have the questions in the chat when they get into the breakout room. Is there a way around that, or does anyone else struggle with that? Am I doing something wrong?
Suggestions.
Share your screen to the breakout room, Katrina says. So if I'm sharing my screen ahead of time, it doesn't share to the breakout room. Because I'm usually sharing my screen when I send them there.
I always ask people to take a photo. So like, let's say I have like 3 steps. Let's say there's 3 steps. You're getting ready to go into the breakout room. There's 3 steps. And I'll say, like also to somebody else's point about like, I ahead of time will I'll pick a person. Like, as soon as you get into your breakout room, find out who is a person who has the most siblings. They're going to start the conversation. But I ask everybody to take a picture with their phone or a screenshot before I send them to breakout rooms. If you're doing something like bigger, like another way I've done this before, like if something bigger or longer, and there's like a participant guide or some kind of document I've shared that's going to be like our working document as we work, then in that document, the prompts will be there. So I'll be like, for this breakout, you'll be focused on the prompts on page 3, something like that. Because there are a lot of experts, way smarter expert people than me on this call. I know that for certain, but I have never found another workaround other than that.
Lori and Lori, I see you have your hands raised. Before I get to your next questions or comments, Katrina and the rest of the group, should we try and do a screen share? And it seems like you said that you can share your chat to the breakout. So should we give that a try?
It's not actually the chat that you're sharing. You can share your screen. So the actual screen. So you could have your instructions on a PowerPoint slide and share that to the breakout room. But on the share screen, once you open the breakout rooms, there is an option to share it to the breakout room. So you have to check that, and then everyone sees the same thing in the breakout room. And then you can time your slides so that if you want multiple steps in a breakout room, you want them to talk about something for 2 minutes and then move on to something else, your slide can change and they're going to see that in the breakout room.
Should we give it a try?
Sure.
So I'm sharing. So if we click share not share, whoops. No, share. Okay, so we're going to more and we're going to breakout rooms. You guys can see it, right? Okay. Create, let's say 3 breakout rooms. I'm going to create them, right, Katrina?
Yes.
Okay.
And then
Options.
you're going to open them. Go ahead and open your breakout rooms.
Okay.
And now that you've opened them, you're going to go to share. And on the bottom middle.
Okay.
Very, very bottom with your blue share button in the middle of the bottom of your screen.
Yep. So let's say I have my PowerPoint slides that I'm sharing.
Yep, exactly. You can share that. And now if everybody goes to the breakout room, they will see it there.
Okay, so I'm not going to do that right now, but thank you. That was awesome. Okay.
Thank you. Genuinely my biggest struggle. Like this made my week.
Yeah.
I'm there for you, Alana.
Lori, I think you had your hand up next. I hope you're still here. Did I miss you?
I think some people actually went to breakout rooms.
Oh,
You might
Okay,
wanna bring it
Back.
I did. I was in a breakout room.
okay, we're in a breakout. I think we're back, right? All right.
Did
I think I
anybody
closed
see
all
it?
the breakout rooms, so.
Did
all
anybody
breakout
see it?
rooms
Because I didn't see anything when I was in my breakout room.
Nothing, didn't see anything.
I didn't end up sharing it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so some people may be coming back. All right. Nora and then Sue.
So does it make a difference which version of Zoom you have? Because if you don't have the latest updates, they change and add things all the time. So you have to go back in and make sure you got the latest version of Zoom to have all these fancy pants tricks that you're showing us.
I think I have just a basic, but it is paid. So I don't know. Benita, you're shaking your head no?
Some of these things weren't here when I first started doing Zoom, and I pay.
Oh, yes, they do continue to update. So yes, that's for sure.
And another thing, what you said is some of those things may be turned off from an admin point of view. If you're like an admin, you have an admin account and a lot of people underneath you. So you need to make sure some of these things aren't turned off. Because I know I work for the state of Ohio and we have to turn off a lot of these things because we're a government agency and we use Zoom for government.
Got it. And just to respond to Brandon, I didn't actually end up doing the share and sending and really doing the breakout rooms. So for those who went into them, sorry for the confusion. I did not give good instructions. We were just playing with it and then I backed out. So that's what happened there. Lori, I know you've had your hand up for a while. Let's go to you and then I'll come back to Sue and Chad.
Well, this isn't about breakout rooms, but this is about the
Okay.
chat.
Go ahead.
The people I work with are always very shy to get into the chat. So we've done polls where it's like survey, like, what the best coffee is, and then list out several coffees or drinks or whatever, and have them answer. And that seems to loosen them up, or put some kind of trivia up there.
Awesome. And in that more button that I showed earlier, there was polls that you can build right in. So you don't have to do anything tricky. That's also pretty standard in Zoom. And I think that is one of those features that has been there a while. Sue, please go ahead.
Hey, Susan. Yeah, thanks. Just a quick question. I was asking if anybody had any note taker that's been capturing all of our awesome tips that we have today. And I didn't see anyone come back with anything, but if not, I was just wondering, are we able to access the transcript from the recording and maybe we could create a tips playbook?
Yeah, so typically what I do is I do post the recording and I will also kind of go through and pull out highlights because I feel like it's a lot to listen to if you haven't been part of it. So I'll put together a bunch of notes and tips. I will listen to it again. I hate the sound of my own voice, but we'll make it happen. And then we post that both. So the video is in Zoom and then on Trainer's Warehouse /show-and-share are usually have the links. I often blog about it. So keep an eye on emails and we'll get that to you. Long answer. Sorry about that. Chad.
No, that's
up.
okay. Great. Thanks. I'll look for that. I was wondering if we get an email, like a recap, or if we should just kind of put a note for us to go hunt around to find it. So
it goes both ways,
Okay.
depending on when I get them out and how good I feel about what I've done, what I've put together. But yeah, I also have note takers. So
great.
Yeah, Chad, please, you're next.
So I was just going to point out with the share, because I know a couple people jumped into the breakout groups, and so I don't think they saw that checkbox on the share screen. Like if you went into the breakout group, if you jumped into the breakout group when it popped up, you didn't see it. But I kind of explained it because I jumped in late. I waited till you had hit the share or I saw where the screen was, but I think some people didn't see that.
So speaking of share also in general, which I meant to show earlier, when you click on share, you can share your content only. You can put yourself in and use this as your background. You can have it over your shoulder, you can have it side by side. So let's say you are sharing and you want to not lose yourself. You can share that way. And sometimes you have a million views and you have yourself then being there 3 different times in 3 different places. But know that you can use that when you click on share, you can put yourself into your presentation. So meant to mention that earlier. Whose hand was up next? Did I lose somebody in my?
Sue, I had mine up quick, but it was, I mean, neither here nor there. But to Sue's point, I did have the note taker it going. It took a while to load and it started recording the notes and I could see it scrolling down where the chat is sitting. But then as soon as I went to breakout, it stopped taking the notes. So I don't know if that's something they're working on, making an enhancement on, because it's not note taking right now for me. But I did click on, Zoom notes earlier. So
It might also be because I'm taking notes as the host. I don't know. I feel like sometimes as the host, you can either accept or deny other people's attempts to take notes. And at one point, someone was recording something and it messed up my recording. And now I'm like, I want to make sure that I have those resources. So
okay, yeah.
it could be something like that as well. But again, we'll make these available to you. All right. What other questions or tips? I realize we're like way over now, but it's just been kind of a good playtime. Yeah, Brandon.
So one of the things that I wasn't sure if you were going to cover or not is the use of the spotlight feature. I think like a lot of times people don't know that they can select the speaker view to whoever's talking comes to the forefront. And so sometimes when they don't know that, they're stuck in gallery view and they're looking at the screen of a bunch of people like, well, who's talking? So as the host or facilitator, I'll utilize the spotlight feature to, like, when Renee's talking, I would spotlight her. So then that way, if someone doesn't know how to pin Renee or how to change it to VQ view, I've done it for them. And the nice thing with the spotlight is you could put multiple people kind of on stage at the same time. So if you want to do a panel type of deal, and I know that helps people out greatly because they're like, I mean, again, everybody's not really Zoom savvy, so sometimes they're just like, well, who's talking? I can't see it because I'm in gallery view, and it just makes it easy.
So let's do a share again and let's just look at it. So and here's my share. Now you can see what I was showing you before where I was in it. Let's just change my share settings. Hold on. Content only for now. So we have when you click on a person, and this is what you're talking about, you can add a pin. So I pinned myself, or you can spotlight.
Yeah, the pin is just for you. So anybody can pin someone. So we all pinned, let's say Katrina pinned Nora and Sue, you pinned Wendy. You're doing that just for you. But when you spotlight as the host, everybody that whoever you spotlight, that person is now kind of pinned for everyone.
Okay, so, and is that for, so I'm going back up. Whoops, where are we?
So I should be main screen for pretty much everyone unless they purposely go back to their gallery view. And then if you add, like, if you can spotlight Nora as well and put Nora on stage with me, and then me and Nora both would be up there.
So here I have Katrina, and I'm gonna say add spotlight. I can replace or add. So I add the spotlight in there, they both are. And if I click again on your 3 dots, I can remove your spotlight. Oh, I feel so powerful.
Yes, that is.
And here's the remove spotlight right here for Katrina. And
And now it's back to, I think your normal view is your speaker view,
Well,
right? That's,
yeah,
is that
so
what I'm
here
hearing?
and here, this sometimes looks a little bit different. So this little icon here, again, lets you choose between speaker, gallery, multi-speaker. And I'm trying to remove that. Multi-speaker was what I was using before. Dynamic gallery, look, that's new. Look at that. Dynamic gallery automatically crops all titles, including your own, to focus on faces. Okay, see, we're learning all of this together right now. That was dynamic gallery. Interesting, interesting, interesting. All right, you guys, what else do we have here? Any other questions, suggestions, tips? This has been great.
I'll add one small one. I think that when you're in chat, it's really, I don't know if it's great, but I think it's important that people remember that you can chat with a singular person instead of the whole group. So when you're in the chat bar, you can do everyone, or you can do new chat and only send an individual message to somebody in particular. I don't know.
And then emphasize that when you save chat, you only save the everyone. It does not show those individual comments that you made back and forth to individuals. I think that's key, because some people are afraid to talk to one of their peers or one of their friends because they're afraid it's going to show up on screen, especially if they say something snarky.
Nora, that never happens. What are you talking about?
That's for a side chat in Teams, right?
Exactly. Well, and thanks everybody. Remember, Trainers Warehouse is a great source for tools and tips. Our website is live 24/7. But this has been great. I appreciate your all being here and sharing so generously, and kind of bearing with, again, the roll up your sleeves. Let's get gritty. Don't know what's going to happen, but you all make it work. So thank you. All right. And Sarah, thank you, Sue. Thank you, Sue. And Sarah, you can stop the recording, and I think we're all good.